When you think of the genius of Charlie Chaplin, you probably think of his trademark bowler hat and cane, classic gags, and some of the most hilarious and heartwarming films from cinema history. But perhaps his most important contribution to cinema was the invention of the dramady. Hello and welcome to 100 Years of Cinema. We'll be taking a look at one film a year from 1915 to track the evolution of film over the last century. In 1921, Charlie Chaplin directed and starred in his first feature-length comedy, The Kid. The film opens with an intertitle reading, "A picture with a smile and perhaps a tear," and it was that sentiment that made The Kid one of the most successful films of the silent era, and made Charlie Chaplin one of the most famous people in the world. Why? Because it was the first film to mix comedy and drama. Chaplin wrote about the film. There has been satire, farce, realism, naturalism, melodrama and fantasy, but raw slapstick and sentiment, the premise of The Kid, was something of an innovation. And he was right. To really understand how The Kid changed cinema, we need to understand what Chaplin knew about comedy. What Chaplin realised was that making someone laugh is easy. But if you want to make a film that's truly enduring, you need to give the audience an emotional connection to the characters. Filmmakers use dramedy to explore meaningful themes such as poverty and paternal love, while at the same time keeping the film light and engaging. But why do we, as the audience, find the mix of comedy and drama so effective? Well, it allows us to find humour in our vulnerability. The combination of comedic and emotional scenes is perhaps more reflective of real life than comedy or drama on its own. We can reflect on heavy themes like poverty in America without the emotional weight of a film like The Great Wrath. In fact, the influence for the film's setting came from Charlie Chaplin's own upbringing in a similar environment in London, and the relationship between the kid and the tramp was inspired by the death of Charlie Chaplin's 3-day-old son just 2 years earlier. And yet he takes these deep emotional themes and creates a piece of work that's easy for people to relate to. The core emotional truth of the film makes it just as accessible for audiences today as it was in 1921. Let's compare The Kid to another comedy that came out the same year, Buster Keaton's The Haunted House, which tells the story of a clumsy bank teller that winds up trapped in a seemingly haunted house along with some bank robbers and a theatre troupe. The haunted house starts immediately with a pratfall, and the next scene, in which Buster is messing up banknotes with glue, is funny, but it does nothing to further the plot. And when Buster's falsely accused of robbing the bank, the audience doesn't care because it's not been given a reason to invest in the character. In fact, throughout the film, Buster is repeatedly placed in danger, but the audience never feels sympathy for the character. Put this in contrast to The Kid. Whereas Keaton hits us with a joke right off the bat, there isn't a single joke in the first 7.5 minutes of The Kid. Instead, this time is spent introducing us to a mother who abandons the child she can't afford to raise, and the tramp that finds him. So when we see a slapstick sequence, like the orphanage trying to take the kid away, it's not just funny, we feel an emotional connection. We're invested in the joke because we understand what's at stake. Through the humour, we're rooting for the tramp, and we celebrate when he gets the kid back. Every joke in the film serves to develop the relationship between the kid and the tramp, and this is played off emotionally at the film's climax. The influence of The Kid can be seen in some of the most critically acclaimed movies of the last century, in Fargo, Lost in Translation, Forrest Gump, and countless other examples. For me, the most definitive use of dramedy comes from early seasons of The Simpsons. Each episode counterbalances hundreds of jokes with moments of real human connection. For example, the episode Lisa's Substitute, which explores a similar theme of fatherhood to The Kid. The jokes are used to explore the relationship between Lisa and Mr. Bergstrom, and they build to a poignant moment that rivals any drama. Chaplin didn't just introduce the idea of comic relief or drama with a few jokes mixed in. He introduced the idea that the correct balance of comedic and dramatic elements could build a film more powerful and affecting than the sum of its parts. Thanks for watching 100 Years of Cinema. Let me know your favourite dramedy in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe so we can travel through the history of film together. There are currently 2 versions of The Kid, the public domain version, which is available for free on YouTube, or the version that's edited and scored by Chaplin himself, available on DVD. I've provided links to both of them below in the information box. Thank you for watching.